Hey, welcome to week 2 of The Space Between. This is a great time for groups to get together and talk about something that's really relevant to everyone's life. It's this truth that there needs to be space between all the limited parts of life, like we're going to talk about today, time. Now, I don't know how it is for you, but when you look back on your life, one of the best memories are of the best achievements. The things when it all worked out the way you had hoped, things turned out to be just what you had always dreamed of. And we look back on them and we love them and we live life trying to find ways to in some way get those times of our lives to repeat. They're great moments. And there's other things that are very memorable. And they're not the great moments of life, but they're still times of our life. In fact, all of us can remember back to the funerals we've been to of loved ones or friends and family. And those are memorable as well. And so we had these two big experiences of different sorts, the ones that are great experiences that we want to happen again, and then the ones that we want to never have to face again. It's in those moments with the tough ones that we never want to have to face again that reality becomes reality for us once again. And that's the fact that time is limited. And that's what I want us to look at today. In the midst of the times of our lives, we can lose track of the truth that time is limited. Now, this isn't new. This was known even before Jesus. Moses realized this as he was traveling out in the wilderness with God's people. We're going to look at a text today in Numbers 13 and 14, a story that kind of sets us up for the main text over in Psalm 90. Kind of give you a little bit of background. In Numbers chapter 13, God has come down to the people and He said, "Hey, Moses, send out a group of guys to check out this land that I'm giving you. Not this land that you're going to go fight to win because it's going to be maybe an if you get it. But I'm going to give it to you. It's your gift from me. Just tell the guys to go check it out and see what they think." And so Moses gets 12 guys and out they go to check it out. And they come back and they say, "Wow, that place, it is beautiful. It's got everything we've ever wanted, but it also has some really big people. In fact, they're better fighters than us. They're stronger than us. And if we try to take them on in battle, they're going to win." And the guys had forgotten that God didn't say, "Go see if you can win the battle, but just go check out the land I'm giving you." And so the people didn't go in. Only 2 of the guys, Caleb and Joshua, said, No, we can take this. God said so. And the rest of them said, "No, we can't. Get those young ones to be quiet." And they did. And then they called out to God, "Why are we still in the wilderness?" And God said, "I showed you the land I had for you, and you chose not to go. And because you chose not to go, we'll let this whole generation die before my people enter this promised land that I've shown you." And the people began to weep again. And then we get this psalm written and attributed to Moses. I always just consider maybe this was written right at this time because it sounds a lot like it was. In Psalm 90, Moses is recounting how hurt he was, of how they've messed it up and gotten it all wrong. And then he says something that's so important. Great for the people to hear them, for Moses to finally come to a realization of the need for, but something for us as well. And that's this verse right here. Psalm 90, verse 12. Moses says, "Teach us to number our days, that we may gain a heart of wisdom." Now, Bronnie Ware is a nurse who works in palliative care, and throughout her years of experience, she began to see this rhythm and this repeating way that she would interact with patients in those last days. And she wrote a book, and in it she recounts the ways that she experienced people facing death. And something that was very real for most patients was regret. And she names 2 of the top regrets that she heard over and over again. The second most common regret she heard was this: "I wish I didn't work so hard." She recounts, "All of the men I nursed deeply regretted spending so much of their lives on the treadmill of a work existence." You know, that's not too shocking for us to hear. I mean, are we not very hard workers who spend a lot of time trying to achieve the best we can in our workplace or in some area of life, working hard at it? So, why isn't that changing? Why are we continuing to do it? Are we just trying to avoid the real need that a lot of us face, and that is just to simplify life? Well, that was the second most common. But the number one most common response she got was this: I wish I had had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. When people realize their life is almost over and they look back clearly on it, it's easy to see how many opportunities have been missed and how unfulfilling it was to their hopes and dreams. Now, for us, we got to learn not to ignore the fact that time really is limited. And maybe we need to take to heart and to remember the words that Moses wrote so long ago as he was realizing the fragility of life. When he said, Lord, teach us to live as if our days are numbered, because they are, so that we may gain a heart of wisdom. Wisdom is what we need to know what to do and what not to do. The very thing to start and what it is we need to stop doing. You see, we know this, we see it on the gravestones, you've probably heard it before. Life is that space between the day you were born and the day you die. And so the question for us today is, how are you filling that space between? What do you need to start doing? And what do you need to stop? I hope the conversation with your group here today sets you up to take the next step into living life to the fullest in the midst of this space between.